Welcome, Counter Slammers, to our model review. This week we're going to be taking a look at Raluk Moorclaw, the Ironmonger. Now, this model hasn't actually been released yet. It did come out during Gen Con, and he's a troll, which you can plainly see here, and he is a Jack Marshal. He's a mercenary, but he also works for minions as well. He works for Cryx, Cygnar, and Khador. And he also works for Troll Bloods, the Blindwater Congregation, and Thornfall Alliance. That's right. So now you have a Jack Marshal in Gators and Pigs. So this is pretty big for both those sub-factions, as Jeremy would call them. So yeah, but I play Gators, and that's the reason why I picked him up. And I thought he would be a cool addition because he can take up to 2 Jacks. So you start looking at the different Jacks that he has access to, things like the Vanguard, which can take a shot for him with the shield guard, or you could start taking some of the bigger ones like the Rover, or the Mariner, or any of the other Jacks. The only ones you can't take are the Raluk Jacks with him. So, but he has access to all the rest, which is really neat. And so here, take a look at him here. You can see he's got a big cannon in his hand, and he's got another little axe thing there, so a battle axe. So, but how does he play? Well, first right off the bat, he's a speed 5, which is pretty average for trolls, and his Mat and Rat are both 6, which are not bad, not great. Of course, you're obviously going to be taking him more for his Jacks more than for his own ability to fight. And his defense is 13, which is actually slightly better than most of the other trolls, which usually tend to be 12. And his armor is 15, which is pretty standard. He is, of course, also tough. Not a big shock there. He is a troll. And he comes with 2 weapons. One is called a Slug Gun, which only has a range of 4. So this thing is pretty short shot. And it's a Rayfire 1. It's a POW 14. So it's not going to do a ton of damage against Jacks or anything, but against single wound or light beasts or Jacks, it might be able to do a little bit of damage. He also has a battle axe, which is power and strength of 13. Again, not super great, but not terrible. So he can choose either one of those when on his turn. He also does have assault, so during his turn he can get to use both his shot and his battle axe. So if you can charge him up and with Mat Rat 6 against the target, you'll be able to get 2 attacks off, which is pretty cool. And then he's also got a drive ability called Hog Wild. Now what this does is this model can attempt to drive each Warjack under its control in its command range. To drive a Warjack, this model must make a command check at any time during its activation. If it passes, the Warjack can make 1 ranged attack this activation before its normal movement. After its normal movement, the Warjack can only make melee attacks that activation. If it fails, the Warjack does not benefit from Jack Marshal this turn. So it is kind of a tricky ability. If you pull it off, your Jacks get to shoot before they get to make their movement, and they can make their movement and make their melee attacks. Of course, if he fails, then they don't get to the ability to be able to boost, or to make those special attacks, which is kind of bad. So hopefully you get a chance to make that every time. Otherwise, you might not find him that favorable if you keep getting bad rolls. He is mechanically adept, so he can attempt to repair friendly non-faction Warjacks and battle engines as well. So when he's in those other factions, he can actually begin to repair your Jacks and battle engines as well. For if you're taking Cryx, for example, like that I play, if you take him, he can repair the battle engine, things like that, which is pretty cool. So and he also has a repair action, which his repair ability is 8, and so he can also repair his own Warjacks. So he's a pretty cool model. Like I said, he brings a lot to the table in way of, for me, for Gators. I don't know necessarily that I would use him a whole lot for Cryx. I don't need a Jack Marshal for Cryx per se. Although I could if I wanted to take the Merc Jacks to go with him. But with Gators sometimes we only got access to like 4 or 5 beasts. It's not a huge range. And even then, not a lot of them hit very hard. So the opportunity to be able to take like a Buccaneer who can throw something and knock something down, and then charge in with my Gators right afterwards, it would be a fantastic option. to be able to have, you know, Vanguard to take a shot for him, to keep him safe on the table would be nice, but also to take a big Jack like the Rover or something would be really cool as well, to take with them where they get a chance to shoot and then move and make their attack. So it's yeah, it's a pretty cool Merc. You know, take a look at him again here, and you can see he's you know, he's of course a character, so you can only take one. Of course, he works for trolls since he is a troll as well, so you can take Merc Jacks in a troll army too. And hopefully you guys get a chance to play him, and if I get a chance to play him this season, I will try to put him on the table. If not, probably most definitely see him next season. So, yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and we will see you guys, you know, on the other side of the game.